Testing. Testing.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
You're not showing up at all now.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
You blew up.
Yeah.
Shut up and sit down.
Hello and welcome to Nerddom's Levels of Ridiculousness podcast. I'm your host Ozpin, and I'm joined by my buddy and co-host DK.
Yo! I'm not really here.
Levels of Ridiculousness, or LoR, is a show dedicated to our conversations on all things nerd. We touch on a wide variety of subjects and news and feature a different main discussion topic every week. This week's main topic of Nerddom LoR is our Star Wars The Last Jedi debriefing.
Yeah, it was
Because we saw that last night.
and it was spectacular.
It was very good. It was very long.
Yes.
But it was very good. I love long movies.
Oh, yeah.
Myself. Some people actually dislike films when they are longer than 90 minutes.
It does not bug me at all.
Some people complain. And frankly, I'm frustrated with movies that are shorter than 2 hours. So
I figured that the longer the movie, the more you get for your buck.
yeah, right?
It's like, why would you be upset? Because it's a movie. You go there to be entertained. What's wrong with being entertained longer?
Yeah. I've never really... I understand, like...
A time schedule.
We are the MTV generation. You know? We have very short attention spans. We were raised with things like YouTube, where everything is very short and quick and to the point. But, you know, my favorite movies are the Lord of the Rings extended editions.
Fair enough.
Those, you're lucky...
4 hours each.
I think the shortest one is like 3.5 hours?
The extended version, yeah.
Yeah, the longest one I think is over 4 hours, but...
Oh, yeah. It's 12 hours altogether.
Yes, it is. It is 12 hours cumulatively. But we can,
Which is half a day.
yeah.
Just pointing it out.
Well, that's nothing. One of my favorite podcasts, they're a movie commentary podcast, and they did commentary for each of those movies back to back.
Oh,
They
wow.
spent 12 hours recording commentaries for those films. It's
Holy
actually some of
shnikey.
my comfort stuff.
Shnikes, that's long.
But let's go ahead and jump into... Welcome to Nerddom, everybody. This is Levels of Ridiculousness, or LoR. Let's go ahead and jump into podcast updates, and we only have a minor one. I'll skim through it really quickly, and then we'll jump into what we've been up to. So, Nerddom LoR Level 8. The last one we put up.
This being level 9.
Yes. What did we title that one?
Midichlorians.
Sifo-Dyas and Force Ghosts.
Yeah.
That podcast was...
Put out raw.
Yeah, due to a series of, I guess,
Happenstance.
miscommunications, the podcast was uploaded raw, accidentally. We did not edit that.
The
So,
edited one's in the trash that I no longer I would have to re-edit.
if we are, we may be putting out a re-edit of that, but as of right now, we are not concerning ourselves with getting that out.
It's been out a week. If you've seen it, let us know. But if you want to see it raw, what we sound like raw and our craziness, there you go.
Yeah, if you want to see what one of our podcasts looks like unedited, well, LoR Level 8 is exactly that. So, what have you been up to, DK?
I have been playing Aegis of War 0 still.
Aegis, I don't know how to pronounce it either.
I read my third book of Eden's Gate, which is phenomenal. Thank you.
Yeah, I saw that you'd gotten that. I mean, I'm sure you talked about it on the last podcast, but it looks nice on the shelf.
Yeah, book 3. The Sands, which is the subtitle of the book, the third book in the series. Fourth one should be coming out soon. And really good book. Other than that, I've been just reading manga, light novels.
Cool.
I'm reading Dragon Marked God. Dragon Marked God. It's a light novel. I think it's Korean or Chinese.
Huh.
And it's really nice. It has 800 chapters out right now.
That's a lot.
I'm at 30.
Actually, I say that, but I don't know what a lot is as far as mangas are concerned. Because
this is light novel. That's a lot.
What are stuff like Bleach? What did Bleach get up to? What did One Piece get up to? I don't know the numberings. Naruto, that's the one I should ask you about. You were a fan of Naruto. How many chapters did Naruto have before it was done? Because I know a chapter is not a one-to-one as far as the episodes of like a show are concerned.
It was like 700 something.
Good lord.
And that was like 15 to 30 pages each.
Hoy.
Yeah, that's
Forget filler for stuff like the animes.
Yeah, that was without the filler.
Okay, well... Are you...
Yeah, I'm passing you the baton.
Cool, remember. Yeah, I watched RWBY. I watched Orville.
As always.
As always, they're great. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about those. What I will talk about is the fact that I finished The Walking Dead Season 7.
Any good?
It's great. I don't know if maybe it's because I started watching... I binge-watched like the first 3 seasons with you over the course of a few days. When I started watching, and then...
I remember that.
And then during the best part of the show, in my opinion, during Season 4, is when I was having to wait week to week. And then after Season 4, I kind of had to start watching them on Blu-ray and waiting for them to come out on Blu-ray, as opposed to keeping up with it weekly. But the show's quality seems to have taken a minor dive for me.
It is. It's a small dive.
I know that I know you jumped ship for a reason.
Yeah.
You jumped ship for a reason, but like I like The Walking Dead, and it's hard for me to put my finger on exactly what about the show is bothering me. But that being said, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
That's good.
The character deaths are unfortunate, but frankly, there were a lot of characters in Season 5. Oh, yeah. Boy. There was a scene where they were walking on the road, and it was just a parade of people. And it's like, I don't know how you're going to sustain this cast. And then they get to the destination where they're going in Season 5, and they introduce even more characters.
And then
it's like, what are you doing?
Then they start cleaning them out.
Season 7 is cleaning people out. That's just what they did. And it started with the character deaths that everybody probably knows about as a result of the end of Season
6?
Season 6. Where that ends with...
Spoilers!
Nope.
Oh, we're not?
Don't spoil it. I'm not spoiling The Walking Dead here.
Okay.
It is my opinion that The Walking Dead has some of the absolute best storytelling I've ever seen in a TV show. So, my advice... not necessarily DK's, but my advice is go watch The Walking Dead. Because even if you don't like zombie fiction, which I generally don't, you can't argue with good storytelling, which
it's
The Walking Dead...
arguing with zombies showing up every once in a while.
It's drama! And frankly, the saying that you just referenced, that comes from Season 2. And I get why that comes from Season 2, because, frankly, Season 2 was a bottle season, where they spent the entire thing on the farm.
Yeah.
And very rarely did they have any... Now, to be fair, Season 2 ended spectacularly, and that gave us Season 3, which was... Season 3 was great.
Yeah. I like Season 3.
I would bet... Ironically, I would bet money that the budget for Season 2 went into Season 3.
Yeah, they probably saved it.
Yeah, or, well, at the very least, they saw what they could do with so little. So they got more money for Season 3. I don't know exactly how all of that works. But... Season 3 certainly had a better budget than Season 2. But go watch The Walking Dead. It has great, great storytelling. In my opinion, one of the best narratives of television in recent years. And I started watching Do Rah Rah Rah.
Oh, God.
Do Rah Rah Rah.
How'd you like the Dollahan? Her and her helmet.
I like the character, certainly.
What episode are you on?
I'm on, like, episode 8.
Oh, you haven't seen the giant twist yet?
I'm not in yet. I'm not that far in yet. In fact, I tried to start watching it a few weeks ago. Got, like, 2 episodes in and started doing something else. You know?
It's a very easy series to get detached from.
Yeah. But it is a sister show to one of my favorite anime, Baccano.
Yeah, there's a Durarara 2 also.
Yes, that's
2
actually
seasons.
That's the reason why I started watching the first season. But yeah, that's generally what I've been doing. Ruby's great. Orville ended.
Really?
The season finale
12?
aired. I think it was episode 12, but is it episode 12 that was the season finale?
I think so. I thought when I looked,
I know you're not up to date with it.
I look at it. I was gonna wait till it ends and then just binge it when I'm not at work, but haven't done that yet.
It's good. You will enjoy it. I know you liked it in the beginning.
Oh yeah, I'm 5 episodes in, 6 episodes in.
That's not bad. But we'll go ahead and jump into nerd news, and I'll let you go ahead and talk about your PUBG story that you have.
Okay, Players Unknown Battleground, PUBG essentially. I butchered that. Is now on Xbox, and they got their first update, which is highly needed because it was such a glitch fest.
What was wrong with it?
Horrible texturing. It would just glitch graphically. In certain locations, your car would get stuck, and then you'd freeze, and then you'd be down the road in the next skip. And it was just messed up. And it got an update, and from what I can tell, it's fixed it to a degree. So it's good. But if this is your first time playing PUBG, you're not going to be too happy of a camper. You're going to be like, really? This is the big deal that everybody's been throwing about? Like, if you can play a computer, I still say.
Yeah. Well, frankly, I don't know anything about PUBG. I've heard of them, but I don't know
It's a battle royale. Sorry, guys. Ozpin's a little sick.
Frankly, we're both a little sick. We should have prefaced the episode with...
there will be coughing.
Yeah, there will be coughing. There may be a sneeze or here and there, but
Some sniffling.
Ozpin, I am very sick with a cold, and I believe your stomach's messed up.
Yes, I've moved past cold to stomach problems.
Yeah. So we're all messed up here at Nerddom, but welcome to the holiday season, folks. What has PUBG put out?
Basically, PUBG it's not so much what they put out, it's a battle royale. That's
I mean, like games. What have they put out?
Just PUBG.
Oh, I'm missing this. I thought
PUBG's the game.
I thought PUBG was the company.
No.
I thought PUBG was the game producing company. Okay. I don't know what PUBG is.
Players Unknown Battleground.
Player Unknown Battleground? Okay.
It's PUBG.
I'm not
Players Unknown Battleground.
I'm not the gamer on this podcast.
PUBG. Players Unknown Battleground.
Oh, okay. Just showed my lack of knowledge concerning video games.
It's a 100 versus everyone, so it's 1 versus 99.
Oh, that game! I know that game!
Yes, you do. Where the frying pan is
where
the
you
key.
parachute in.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I know that. I didn't know the name, but I know that game.
Fortnite has a version of PUBG also, the Battle Royale mode.
And for some reason, I thought PUBG was the creators
1 versus 100?
The creators that put out Fortnite.
Well, they use the same engine. The graphics engine and the physics engine, but they are not the same.
PUBG sounds like a company now.
Actually, PUBG is throwing a fit because Fortnite has a Royal Rumble, basically a free-for-all.
Oh, come on. That's not
even
weird.
And they're saying, like, we may do some legal suits while they use Fortnite's system.
That's not weird.
Frostbite system. It's not smart to insult the person that you're using their system on.
That's like trying to get onto any video game that puts out a battle royale system.
Yeah.
It's like, that's stupid.
It's like
you don't have a patent on this particular type of gaming.
Well, they can make a claim, but I don't know.
Yeah, I doubt it.
And that's about it.
Okay, then I'll I'll talk about Stargate Origins. Now, for those who don't know, I'm a big fan of Stargate and the Stargate franchise. And they're putting out a prequel? I thought the Stargate franchise was dead.
Really?
Like, I'm a big fan, but they haven't done anything with it in years. Like, probably a decade. Stargate Origins is apparently a prequel taking place before even the movie happens.
Weird.
And I don't care. Everything I care about... I know you're not a Stargate fan. But everything
Stargate was fine.
Everything I care about as far as Stargate goes is the show. And they're trying to do a... It's like a prequel that takes place in the 60s.
I watched that Stargate...
Or sooner?
I watched the Stargate that was where they got trapped on the sand island.
Yeah, that's the movie.
Yeah, I've seen the movie.
The movie is...
Meh.
Yeah, the movie's a heavy meh. Frankly, if you want to see that same story told better, go watch Atlantis the Lost Empire, the animated movie.
I've seen...
That's the same
Atlantis
story.
The Lost Empire.
Yeah.
That's a great movie.
That's a great movie. I love that movie. I'm very lukewarm on Stargate, the film. I love Stargate, the TV shows, although I've yet to watch Universe. Frankly, I will sit down at one of these days when I feel that I'm ready to watch Universe, because Universe ends with cliffhanger.
Oh.
With a cliffhanger. I can't talk today. It ends with a cliffhanger, so I'm like, I don't really want to jump into that until I feel like I'm really ready. We were supposed to get more movies for Stargate. We never did. I was a big fan of Atlantis, but Stargate Origins is apparently a prequel that takes place even before the movie, because the movie's technically canonical with the show. And nothing matters, you know, unless they're gonna lie and say, oh, we turned the Stargate on before Daniel Jackson did it. Again, because they did that in the show, but they only did it once. You know, like, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, we turned the Stargate on 20 years before.
That defeats the whole mystery of it.
I don't know if it's a movie. I don't know if it's a show. Stargate Origins, folks. If you care about Stargate and you're interested, because I didn't know that it was coming out until I saw a little thing about it on YouTube. If you're interested in Stargate, go and research it. But I frankly don't care enough to research it. Which is funny because this is my story, but I'm a big fan of Stargate, and I don't care about a prequel. Give me something in the established universe that expands on things that have... Frankly, they have a decade's worth of a TV show to build upon. It's like rebooting shows like... But to be fair, we do that all the time.
Oh god, it's the new craze.
Rebooting shows that don't need to be rebooted. And that's all. Stargate Origins, folks.
Woo! Are we on to our main story now?
Yeah, we're going to jump onto the top story, which is... The Greatest Showman, starring Hugh Jackman.
The Broadway singer back in his game.
Yeah. Yeah,
his hometown.
I love Hugh Jackman. He is a spectacular... That's how he got his start.
On Broadway. I've
probably stated that in a previous podcast before.
He's actually played a Broadway singer in movies as a Broadway singer.
Yes, he's been in multiple musicals. He got his start as a song and dance man on Broadway.
So he goes from Wolverine to back to Broadway. I think that's just glorious.
Yes, I am very, very happy.
He's like, I'm going back to where I started.
I'm very happy that one of the first things he does after he has closed the book, you know, because he has actively closed the book on Wolverine. He's like, I don't want to do this anymore.
At first, he actually said, you know, if I could cross over with the the MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe, that I would reprise the role. But now he's saying, no, I'm really done. Yeah, I'm not going to do it anymore at all. Yeah,
it's fair. I mean,
the DCU, Wolverine joined the DCU. Come on, sorry.
I love Hugh Jackman. I certainly think that he is very fit, but he's getting older. You know, he is getting older, and while it was intentionally portrayed that way in Logan, like he's supposed to look older and sicker, but maybe because he looks great in The Greatest Showman. You know, physically, like he looks good. And I'm like...
You gotta think
I'm like, no, I was literally, when I was watching the trailer, because the trailer for us played before the Last Jedi. I was like, did you legitimately trick me into thinking that you were older than you were when I watched you in Logan?
He's only 40-something.
I know. Really?
Yeah.
I say I know, but then I was like, really?
Yeah, he's not that old.
I know he's not that old, but he tricked me, like, health-wise. I know he's only 40-something.
He can act.
I know he's 40-something, but when you watch Logan, he actually tricked me into thinking that he was not older than he was, but, like, not as healthy.
That's how he's supposed to play his character.
I thought it was kind of... I didn't know that was all makeup and movie magic.
That is all Hugh Jackman.
Oh, my goodness.
He is an amazing actor.
Well, I'm glad you're in good health, Hugh.
And you gotta think, for the 10 years... For 10 years... He's been the Wolverine in perfect peak health.
Yeah. Well, the main thing that I noticed was, I looked at him as Wolverine in the first X-Men movie, and then him as Wolverine in later films. And you can see the age.
Yeah.
But that's true of anyone.
You can also see he gets more fit.
Because he must have been in his...
Fitter.
Must have been in his mid-20s when he first played Wolverine. Something like that.
He was early on, because he's been Wolverine for about 10, 15 years now.
But I saw that movie, and I recognized that, it's Hugh Jackman, he's getting back into the song and dance thing, but then I also paid attention to what the story was going to be, and I'm like, I want to see this. This looks spectacular. It's a story about the first circus.
I remember I was sitting watching it, and I was just bobbing my head, like, seems decent. And he just looked straight at me and was like, I want to see this.
Uh-huh. As soon as the trailer was over, my head spun around a DK in the theater, and I said, I want to see this movie. And just a little minor note, right after that, we had the trailer for the video game movie. What's it called?
I'm spacing.
Me too. Ready Player One.
Ready Player One, yes.
Yeah.
Which had Tracer in it, had Terminators, Iron Giants,
and
Gundam.
You gotta beat me to it.
Yes, I do.
You gotta beat me to it.
I didn't say which one. You have the model number you're about to say.
RX-78-2, plus another robot that I couldn't identify. It went by so quickly, like immediately after that.
Yeah.
It had the RX-78-2 Gundam in it for a few moments, and
which is from where?
What?
Where's it from?
The RX-78-2?
The original?
Oh, that's first Gundam, yeah.
Okay.
That's the first Gundam.
Yeah,
which people actually call the series now, they call it First Gundam anyway.
Okay.
But, it is the first Gundam. And I geeked out because I was not expecting that. We should really talk about the fact that Ready Player One is incorporating so many different trademarks. How did they ever manage that?
Well, their company...
Freddy Krueger, the Iron Giant...
Well, let me put this way.
Gundams... I'm pretty sure Optimus Prime was in there somewhere.
The people making the movie all own those rights to it.
Nobody owns Gundam.
Well, what I'm saying is, like, they're licensed... They are getting licensed, but they're also... The company owns most of those. And I don't even know what company it is. Me either.
I'm looking forward to it because it's happening.
And it's the guy that played Reed Richards in Fan 4 Stick.
Oh yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah,
Stretchy boy himself.
He's got the nose.
The nose.
He does. He has quite the nose.
The one nose to rule them all.
He has quite the nose. I like a guy.
Yeah, he's good.
But The Greatest Showman.
Gonna be great.
It looks spectacular. Hugh Jackman has a beautiful singing voice. I cannot wait to see this movie. And frankly, we were both so excited about it that we're like, let's just make that the main, the top story.
Let me put it this way: I don't do song and dance movies. I absolutely hate them, but I'd watch this.
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman's one of my favorite actors, but also he had a great singing voice, and it wasn't overly showman. And also, I like circuses.
I don't think it's a musical so much as they will be incorporating music
into the movie. That's what it seemed like.
Yeah. Which...
Into the show.
I can't really think of any musicals that I really... I mean, The Nightmare Before Christmas, certainly. I love. But there aren't a lot of musicals that I have in my library.
Yeah.
You know? Or that I would consider some of my favorite films. But that's our top story. Then we're going to move into the main discussion topic, which is our Star Wars The Last Jedi movie debrief.
Alright. So, this movie was fantastic.
Long silence.
I was winding up. It was like the wind-up bite.
But that does remind me about a thing. We can certainly have a moment of silence for Carrie Fisher. Right?
I thought we started already. Be quiet.
What?
Give her the moment.
Alright. Let us all have a moment of silence for Carrie Fisher. Moment passed. So, Star Wars The Last Jedi. Oh no, Carrie Fisher was awesome. Some of Carrie Fisher's stand-up stuff, like she straight up rips herself. You know?
Carrie Fisher is bae. She's awesome.
Her stand-up stuff is really worth looking into. But
I never saw her in stand-up or any of her stand-up stuff, but everything's on the internet, so I can find it.
You told me that she died before production wrapped.
Yes, I believe that she died before the production was ended.
Are you sure that she was CG at certain points in that? Well, obviously, she was obviously CG when she was like floating in space, but
I'm pretty sure at some points.
Okay, because I could not tell if Carrie Fisher was a CG toy in that movie at some point, then I could not see where it was.
I couldn't see Snoke really to it at some points.
I could see Snoke.
At some points I couldn't.
Yeah.
At some points he looked real.
We've talked about on the podcast before how a lot of, especially to me, a lot of things are getting to the point where they are photoreal.
Yes, it's creepy.
This movie CG was great.
Great movie.
So we can go ahead and jump into our, I think is an opinion that we both share.
Best Star Wars movie.
This is the best Star Wars movie. And that's saying a lot, considering
it has a
Empire...
50-something in the Rotten Tomato
screw
public
that.
score.
Screw that. I'm talking about, like, the fact that it can surpass Empire. We're not necessarily still on the new movie high, by the way, folks. We saw it last night on...
Earlier than this, we were out by 9:02.
We saw it about 24 hours ago. Right at, almost. We finished it about 24 hours ago. And, you know, we spent last night digesting it and discussing it. And I maintain, like, there are plot holes.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I still have...
a lot of movies have plot holes.
I still have no idea who Snoke is supposed to be. Who is Snoke? Who's
They didn't even say.
How did he manipulate Ren when he was a kid at the Jedi Temple? You know? Like, how did that process work?
How did he link their minds together? I don't get that.
That can... The Force.
Yeah, but
I like how the Force has become more of a mystical thing again.
On the Jedi planet, the planet that Luke is on, stuff like that can't reach him because, at least, it's either that or it's because he closed himself off from the Force.
Yeah. Spoilers! By the way, everyone, if you do not want, frankly, when you're logging onto a podcast which is a debrief for a film, you should expect spoilers for that movie. That being said, this podcast, from this point forward, that was a minor spoiler, but from this point forward, this podcast will be chock full of spoilers for Star Wars The Last Jedi.
Oh, yeah.
Enter at your own risk. So, yeah, Luke has himself... That's the explanation, is that Luke has closed himself off from the Force.
Yes, very much so.
Which
we only saw,
makes a lot of sense to me.
Also, Rey was...
That also explains why he did not sense Han's death.
Or that Rey could use the Force.
Yeah. Well, like, that's the whole thing in Empire, is the only reason that they were torturing Han Solo at Cloud City was to draw Luke there.
Yes.
Vader wanted Luke, so they captured Han Solo and tortured him so that Luke would sense that disturbance in the Force and come to save his friends.
And he has having to leave Yoda because of that. By the way,
Whereas,
Yoda puppet.
Yeah. One thing at a time. But whereas in The Last Jedi, Luke has to be told that Han Solo has died.
Yeah.
Which is... I wish we had seen that moment. Because frankly, they jump cut away from that. They jump cut to the end of Rey explaining everything that's happened, and it's like, let's cut back to where Luke finds out Han's dead. let's watch that. But yes, Yoda puppet. I was geeking out.
Yeah.
I reached over and I was like, oh, he's a puppet. he is a... Let's be clear now. He is a CG toy. I say CG puppet. Actually, the word for a CG caricature that you use in film is a puppet. But is he a puppet? Or is he CG?
He's both.
DK's breaking because of something the cats did. What did you even do?
I scared Balthazar, and when I scared him, he headbutted the floor so hard. That thump was him being so scared his legs lost their strength, and his nose headbutted the floor.
He just went...
He went flat, and I scared him so hard.
Your cat's not that smart.
He's not. That's why I love him. He's special.
But yeah,
he's both. He's puppet and CG.
It looks like he is a CG construct made to look like a puppet.
In this movie, he was a puppet, and they put a little bit of CG on him.
So here is a. I honestly can't tell one way or the other, but he looked like a real puppet to me. But again,
to me too.
Photoreal stuff. He could have very well been a CGI'd puppet ghost.
If they did that, they'd defeat the purpose.
It would defeat the purpose unless they just really got it good. I can't tell, but that's my point, is that it looked so good that either way, I'm down. It's cool. Looks like a puppet to me, which is good.
Yes, it did look like a puppet. The moment that Yoda summoned lightning from the sky.
That's
Force lightning, by the way. Force lightning.
That's cheating! Yeah.
And hit the tree.
That was such a cheat.
I know.
That was such a cheat, because Yoda's like, there's nothing in that tree that Rey does not already possess. And it's true, because Rey has the books. Because later on you see the books.
And I had to point that out to you.
Yeah, but you also had to point out to me that the child used the Force to pull that broomstick to him.
Yeah, at the end.
Yeah.
His hand didn't grab onto
Spoiler!
We told him earlier, if they're still here, that is their own volition.
Yeah. You have been warned, people.
But, I love the moment that he says that she does not already possess.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay, so she already has the Jedi code in her. And then later, you just see her open the drawer to get medical supplies, and the books are there.
It was Yoda manipulating Luke again.
Because Yoda.
Which was like...
Real Yoda. The mischievous, goofy Yoda.
Yeah, Empire Yoda.
Yes.
Castaway Yoda.
And
crazy old wizard hermit Yoda.
I loved how Yoda finally was like a wise hermit again. He was who he really was, like an Empire.
He better be. He's 900 years old, and he's gonna exist forever now.
Oh, he was older than that.
I think there's a specific line in Empire when he says, "When 900 years you turn, look as good you will not." Eh?
Yeah, something like that.
I can quote Star Wars. I'm not the biggest fan of Star Wars that there is, but I can quote the movies.
And
specifically Empire.
I'm a big nerd of
Apology accepted.
My favorite part of the movie, I would have to say, when Rey and Ben Skywalker were fighting.
Are we doing favorite part?
Yeah.
Ooh, boy. I have not thought about this.
When they were fighting together after he force lit the lightsaber, killing Snoke, cutting him in half.
Spoilers, by the way.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
It's like,
frankly, if people are still listening at this point, they're stupid if they haven't seen the movie yet. You are stupid! Go see the movie.
But the fact that Snoke was taunting Rey that I have this boy. He is mine.
And he's describing...
He's stupid.
He's describing what he thinks Kylo is doing, because he's like, he's turning the lightsaber toward his true foe.
With his eyes closed.
Yeah.
And everything is described as going to happen to him. And then you just see him flick his fingers, and it goes on, and you see Snoke's eyes light up.
It's
and
almost
then you
like
see it
you can't see the forest for the trees.
Yes.
You know, he's like... Did he have his eyes closed? I feel like his eyes were open.
His eyes were closed.
Are you All right. I don't know that. I trust you.
His eyes were closed.
But I feel like his eyes were open.
Because he's leaning forward, and he was describing it like he was in his mind.
But my point being is that he was using the Force to sense that, whereas if you just used your eyes...
You would have seen.
You would have seen that the stinking lightsaber was turning toward you.
That's why when his head was down where he could see the lightsaber, his eyes were closed because he was describing what he thought.
Now, I have my own theory towards Snoke, which... I'm going back and forth on whether or not I actually want to share that on the podcast.
You do.
Should I share it on the podcast?
You're here first. You said it. You heard it here first.
My theory about what Snoke is that he is a cloned, like, physical body that has been pushed to maturity, that is capable of using the Force, which is why it's a clone, that is being puppeteered via the Force by someone else.
So a mindless clone.
It is a completely empty body.
A husk.
Which explains why it looks the way it does. He almost possesses physical traits of a Kaminoan.
Okay.
Like, he almost looks half Kaminoan, half human. He's
like,
certainly more human, but obviously that could be because the reason he is so deformed is because he is a test tube baby.
It could be.
Clone of someone else, maybe Sidious.
It's a possibility.
But, like, I don't know what he is, but I feel like him being dead, there's no way he's dead, right? Because they didn't explain who he was.
No, they didn't.
There's just this guy who is apparently a Sith Lord. Like, they never call him a Sith Lord?
No, they didn't. They just said he was Supreme Leader Snoke.
That's Supreme Leader Snoke. He's using the Force.
Yeah.
But that doesn't...
Very strong with the Force,
like,
too.
Who is this guy? Just kind of came out of nowhere, especially considering the ethnic cleansing that went on with the Empire that wiped out all Force users. Not just Jedi.
Yes, they tried to get everybody that was Force sensitive. But
meanwhile, there's this guy who rose into power in the Empire, who looks the way he does.
People are Force sensitive. That it's not a bloodline trait so much as that it's in everybody. And it's awakened.
Oh boy, let's not.
Yeah, well,
I don't want to do the midichlorians.
No, they're leaving that really, and they're going back to the original trilogy. It's like it has to be an awoken because
my theory about midichlorians was, and frankly,
it's
Luke.
Bupkis.
Yeah, like Luke even says it. He says something. He doesn't say this exactly. I'm paraphrasing, but he calls the Jedi Order. The Jedi were dogmatic, narrow-minded hypocrites. And they were wrong. So I kind of like the idea that they came up with the justification of midichlorians being what let you use the Force.
When it wasn't really.
Yeah, but them being wrong about that. I'm very on board with the idea that the Jedi tried to quantify the Force as this Vatican organization.
But they couldn't.
And their justification was, well, there's this molecule inside the people who can use the Force called midichlorians, when it had nothing to do with that.
That's just a thing that happens.
But Snoke, I think he is a test tube clone body husk, and that's why he's as deformed as he is. And that maybe Darth Jar Jar is puppeteering from somewhere else.
It's most likely Plagueis or Sidious died.
Someone said that he was Darth Plagueis, and I'm like, who cares?
Probably, I
why would it be
like
Darth Plagueis?
A clone of Plagueis.
Yeah. Well, there were certainly in expanded universe stuff. There were ideas for clones of the Emperor. Sidious cloned himself. But here's what we can do for the next, let's say, 10-15 minutes. We will each bring up a discussion point for the movie, and we'll just pass it back and forth. But we'll talk about each point.
Okay.
And if the conversation moves fluently, then let it move fluently. But if we come to a point where we need to move on, we'll swap it to the next person and bring up something new.
Okay.
So, bring up something.
Luke killing one of his Padawans in the tent while he's asleep is totally against his character from all the movies he's been in.
I disagree. I disagree entirely. I think that is very in character. I think the fact that Luke, who has not been trained in the ways of the Force, whose training was cut short with his time spent with Yoda, who went off to fight Vader and turned to the dark side momentarily during Return of the Jedi, would totally panic in a situation like that. And the way they described it perfectly. When he came up with his explanation as to why he turned the lightsaber on, it was a perfect justification. It's like, in a moment of stupidity, I thought I could fix it. You know?
Fair enough.
And I think it's also kind of iconic that he used the green lightsaber to try and do that. Which, historically, the green lightsabers have been, like, representations of the more chaotic, rebellious type of Jedi. See, like Qui-Gon Jinn, Yoda, they go against the general grain and attitude that the Jedi, as an organization, tended to display.
In the comic books...
there's a couple of different justifications for color.
In the comic books, they explained that the blue ones were for people, for Jedi that specialized in lightsaber fighting. Mm-hmm. The green ones specialized in people that used the Force, specialized in Force. The gold ones, or the yellow ones, were ones that specialized... They were vanguards. They specialized in using the Force with a combination of your lightsaber. They equally trained both.
Huh. I didn't know about the yellow thing.
And then there's different colors. There's that.
There's also a theory of color being an indicator of rank. Like greens are for masters, blues are for knights.
Well, no. Yes and no, but
then you've got Sam Jackson.
Kenobi, when he was a master, he used a green lightsaber and a blue lightsaber. Then
Obi-Wan?
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan never used a green lightsaber.
Yes, he has.
Oh, yeah, hasn't.
Also on top
you
of
might
that...
you're thinking of Anakin in Attack of the Clones. He used
he used his master's lightsaber for a while. The green one.
Oh, yeah, for like 5 seconds. In Phantom Menace.
Yes.
He used it to kill Darth Maul, you're right.
But also on top
Color me, like, dumbass. Dumb.
Also on top of that, you see that both Anakin and Obi-Wan both had a blue lightsaber in the Clone Wars movie.
Blue?
They both had blue.
Yeah. They both have blue.
Yes, but I don't believe that there are ranks. It's a rank of...
Yeah, I'm saying it's never clearly defined. So there are a lot of, frankly, contradictory explanations for it in all the different fiction.
Fair enough.
But I found it interesting that when he shows up later, he has the blue one. They did so much misdirection in this movie. So much well done misdirection.
Oh, yeah.
Like with the, so Luke shows up.
Force projection.
He shows up in a bunker that you can't get inside. He couldn't have gotten in.
No, he couldn't.
There's only one way in or out. They said that. So in order to... They had to have you believe that he was there to make what was happening matter. You know? It had to have the weight of him actually being there. So they had him walk in. They had him touch Leia. They had him give Leia a physical object.
That we saw earlier in the movie.
Uh-huh. I'm not sure what that was supposed to be.
It's
just an heirloom from the Falcon, I think, but it's not something from previous films. I don't think it is.
It's supposed to have meaning. I don't know it.
But then they have him walk out, you know, and they do a really good job at making you, because that was my immediate thought is there's no way he's actually there. Then they have him give Leia a physical object, and I put that out of my mind.
And she's surprised when she gets it too.
Yeah.
So that's like.
But he gives Leia a physical object, and then he walks out, and then he turns on the blue lightsaber that they had just destroyed.
Yeah.
On board Snoke's ship, and I'm like, wait. But I almost didn't really think about it. I'm like, why is he using a blue one? Well, and I'm like, is that his other blue one? Because he had Anakin's, and then he had.
He had to make more than just one lightsaber.
Luke made one. Luke made his green one, but he didn't make...
Yes, but...
He was using Anakin's. That was Anakin's, the one they destroyed on board Snoke's ship. That was Anakin's lightsaber. But yeah, that was so... I love that scene so much. That was so good.
My favorite scene in the whole movie is when I forget her name, but she the
Asian girl?
No, not the Asian girl. The girl that was completely a jerk to Poe. And
I don't know her
sacrificed
name.
herself by turning around and activating light speed
Uh-huh.
through the ships.
Yeah, she turned the ship into a bullet.
Which is freaking awesome.
She turned a carrier into a bullet. It was great. But I thought that's where the movie was going to be over.
Yeah, I thought it was going to end there.
Moment was where...
It built up, and that's where I thought it was going to peak.
Okay, here's the thing. The movie was way longer than I was expecting, but it also continued for like an hour after I thought it was going to be over. I thought the movie was going to end there. And then it would have Luke come back and be like, okay, I'm going to help you. I changed my mind. Cut to credits.
Completely against that.
Right after the ship blows up and Rey escapes on Snoke's personal shuttle. And
it was completely against that.
They fail to jump to hyperspace, so they're going to the bunker. I'm like, this is going to end right here. And then it had a whole nother act.
Yep.
Which I wouldn't have called.
I'm glad that the relationship between Finn and Rey is platonic.
Friends.
It's friends.
Yes.
And
I'm very glad about that too.
He has a relationship, like a spark with I forget her name, but it's the Asian girl with the crest.
I don't know her name. I don't know half of the new
Rose?
characters' names. Was it Rose?
It might have been Rose.
Good callback if that's it, but I think that's it.
But she's
I don't
golden.
know the pink-haired girl's name.
She's golden.
Poe is my boy.
Poe Dameron.
Poe is my boy and has been my boy since the escape sequence from The Force Awakens.
Oh yeah.
He's like, what's your name? It's like, I'm gonna call you Finn.
FN287 or something.
I'm gonna call you Finn. How's that? He's like, that's fine. I like that. All right, cool. Yeah, I like Finn.
I really started to love him when Poe. I really love Poe when I saw him shoot 10 TIE fighters down in like 10 seconds.
I like how the movie essentially starts with, check out the cojones. The giant steel cojones on this guy flying up to a dreadnought, which is a new thing that I was not expecting to see in this movie, by the way. It's a super, super, super Star Destroyer. Check out the guy flying up to this dreadnought in an X-Wing and jerking around with the guy on the bridge.
That was hilarious. It was like, yep, waiting. Yep, still here.
It's like, can he hear me?
And it was just like, can you hear me now? Good! Type thing. And it was...
It's like, this guy is going up against a dreadnought single-handedly.
I don't get why people are mixed reviews. This was such a good
because
movie.
It's different. Because the movie centers around a space
good
chase.
Thing.
I know. But that
Different's good.
People don't like different. This is my favorite Star Wars movie.
If things always stay the same, nothing becomes interesting.
The Force Awakens...
It was a good movie.
I think people were a little lukewarm on Rogue One as well.
Yes, but at this point...
But that's my point, is that Rogue One was very different as well.
Let me put it this way. Right now, Justice League has better review on Rotten Tomatoes than this movie.
Yeah, I actually thought we were going to cover that during Nerd News, where apparently Justice League is turning a minor profit.
Yeah, worldwide, it's
losing money.
It's not a minor profit. It's building up still. It's made a profit already. Worldwide, by far.
Yeah, we were watching a video online where it's like, yeah, these movies were complete flops, and it's like, domestically
Transformers the Last Night made $300 million.
Yep,
worldwide.
That's the one I go to. It's like, Transformers 5 did not do well.
But worldwide, it made more than $300 million profit.
Yeah.
And all those movies, except for like 2, worldwide, made a profit and weren't busts. Just domestic busts.
Doesn't matter if they make money. They have to make a certain amount of money for the production companies to be like,
we can do another one.
You have to make like 4 times your budget for us to be like, yeah, good job. Otherwise, you're a flop.
If you make Okay, well, one of the movies
I'm
made
paraphrasing.
double what they put into the movie. I'd consider that a win.
But
you doubled your money.
Star Wars.
You're good.
Star Wars. People have mixed reviews on it because it's different, and Rogue One was different, whereas The Force Awakens, which everybody tended to really like, is a rehash of a lot of previously used plot points, and I'll bring that up as a point to talk about for The Last Jedi. Going in and reading the Krull, you think they're setting it up to rehash Empire Strikes Back. And frankly, this movie covers it has a lot of very similar scenes to Empire Strikes Back, but it also has just as many similar scenes to Return of the Jedi.
Oh, yeah.
But it doesn't feel like it's rehashing those movies. This movie centers around a space chase. You know?
A slow one.
It centers around a space chase in which...
An endurance space race.
Yeah, and it centers around...
A code breaker?
Yeah! You've got Rey with Luke, which mirrors the Luke with Yoda scenes from Empire.
You have the Han Solo type-esque thing with Finn and Rose.
Yeah.
I'm calling her Rose.
Yeah. But, like, best movie.
Yeah.
You know, I love
None
this
of the
movie.
relationships were forced. A little bit forced on the Finn romance thing.
Yeah, the Finn romance.
It came out of nowhere. It surprised me.
He has not had the chance to reciprocate that. And
No,
we don't
it's
know
not
if he's
supposed to.
going to reciprocate that. But the way they ended this movie, there's going to be a time skip.
Oh, there has to be. I don't see how they do it any other way. Especially
that will
since...
also come up with the explanation as to why Carrie Fisher is dying. I was actually proud of is dead.
Yes.
Why Leia is dead in the next
also,
movie.
why would you show the little kid, the orphan kid, that has a rebel ring that used the Force to sweep?
Yeah.
And holds his thing up like his broom like a lightsaber? Why would you show him if you're not going to show him do something?
Well, that's the thing online. It's like legends never die. And that's what Luke did, was he made himself a legend.
Yep.
So that people could use the idea to... He gave them hope, you know?
Hope is a powerful thing.
He gave them a story to tell, which we see at the end of the movie. He gave them a story to tell to rebuild the rebellion.
Oh, yeah.
Rebuild a resistance against... I guess it's the First Order. It's not the Empire anymore.
It's the First Order.
Yeah.
And like Luke, Force projects, astral projects himself there. You see all these blasts. I'm like, oh, he used the Force and just repelled everything. No, he's messing with him.
Yeah.
He did a Matrix, Neo type move too. And,
that was great.
And you see,
I love that moment.
He used the Force to dodge. That was awesome.
So what else can we talk about? There's the Finn, and we'll call her Rose. Don't know if that's actually her name, but it sounds right. So good call. The Finn and Rose subplot. Frankly, I could have sworn they were going to have that guy that they recruited to be their codebreaker. I could have sworn. I swore up and down I was expecting it a mile away for him to be like, oh yeah, I had that Rose lapel. I lost it at a poker game. Or something like that. I was like, this is the right guy. But they never did it.
Nope, it turns out that he's just a jerk.
Yeah, he's a prick.
And we never see what happens to him, so he might be in the
he leaves.
third movie.
He just leaves. Well,
yep.
He was probably still on board the ship when everything exploded.
I think he was getting away.
Yeah, I think the implication is that he got away. Yeah. They wrapped up the Phasma fight, the Phasma subplot.
Well, I don't think she's dead, personally.
I think she's dead because she fell into a blazing inferno.
In armor that reflected blasters with plasma.
Yeah, but she was in a fair, which I thought that's my favorite part of the movie. The fact that Phasma's armor reflects blaster fire.
Yeah.
That's cool. That comes back to Gundams that have golden armor that reflects beam weaponry.
It's amazing. It's awesome.
I love stuff like that. But bring up a point.
My favorite point? My favorite point of the movie is how Rey completely just screws with the people and the little housekeepers.
Oh, those poor guys.
on the little island.
Yeah.
She just destroys their world.
Those poor guys.
She cuts that rock in half and destroys their trolley. And I just like, oh, I'm so sorry, little guys.
I
girls.
maintain. I'm horrified by it, but I maintain that, what are the little guys called? Porgs?
Yeah.
I maintain Chewie was eating porgs.
And I believe he was eating birds, not the porgs.
Yeah, I think they were porgs, though. So
That's whole level of screwed up because they were begging for food.
Yeah. They weren't begging for food. That's why I think they were porgs. They were looking at him like they were about to cry. They weren't begging. They were like, oh my gosh, you're eating our friend.
No, because
Which is messed up, yes, but oh my goodness, because Chewie's a dog. You know, that's they're sort of rehashing that. I don't like the portrayal of Chewie as a dumb dog. I don't like that portrayal of Chewie, but that seems to be what they're going for.
I believe
That's terrible.
I believe they were begging for food.
Whatever helps you sleep at night.
No, well, okay. Like if they come out and say, "Hey, we were begging," they were begging for food, or they were. If they come out and say it's like they were begging for food, or that they were horrified by what Chewbacca did, I will go either way. I'm not going to argue with the people that created it.
It's so dark.
But I believe and I'm hoping that they just wanted food.
Whatever helps you sleep at night.
I will say that the birds that he was eating were bigger than the porgs. And the porgs, you can't say that were babies because we see babies
That's
earlier.
what I said. That's what I said.
We see the babies on the Millennium Falcon.
Is that they were smaller porgs watching
even
Chewbacca
smaller.
eat their parent. And I'm like, oh.
But we're lucky that that's not the case because we see babies earlier and they look like a babies.
Do you notice how all the animals in this movie had Disney eyes?
Yeah, big eyes.
It's funny.
It's
like, yeah, Star Wars is owned by Disney now, so naturally all of the cute little animal things that should be compared to Ewoks, they all have the Disney eyes now. They have the cute eyes.
The cantina type scene in the casino here. That was the equivalent. The casino scene was the cantina scene.
Yeah.
It was equivalent. I like it because it showed so many different aliens, different races, species.
Gave me like a Harry Potter vibe almost.
Yes, it gave me a very, this universe is bigger than we know.
Yeah. Thank you. Because frankly, that's my problem with Star Wars up to this point, is we can't get away from these 5 people over here.
And then it showed us dozens of different species and aliens.
The universe is bigger than the
seems.
Skywalkers.
Yes.
And I'm happy that we've successfully managed to, outside of Ben Kenobi, we have successfully managed to divorce ourselves from the Skywalker.
You mean Ben
stories.
Solo?
Yeah, but
Skywalker? Ben Solo?
Skywalker
You said
blood.
Kenobi.
Huh?
You said Ben Kenobi.
Did I say Ben Kenobi? Ah, dang. Ben Solo. We've managed to divorce ourselves from the Skywalker bloodline, which, yay!
Yeah, Rey. We don't know her last name.
Doesn't matter what her last name is at this point, apparently.
I don't believe that Ben told Rey the truth about her parents. It could be a possibility, but I believe that he was trying to manipulate Rey.
I think it would be in character.
Yeah.
For him to lie about that.
Because at first he says...
Has he lied?
Snoke has.
Have we ever seen Ben lie? About what?
He says Snoke has answers to your parents, and then he just tells Rey that how her parents were. You see him fool people all the time. Say one thing, do another.
I am actually trying to stretch to find a moment where Kylo Ren actually lies. I've got nothing, but I don't want to spend 15 minutes trying to think about it.
One thing I will say is I believe that Kylo Ren should have just killed the general guy. Like, he's not needed. He's not needed.
That's what I thought was going to happen. That's what I said when we were done with the movie. I was like, when Kylo stands up,
he should have killed the Nazi.
Well, there was that moment where he's a ginger, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the dude reaches into his coat to pull out a pistol to shoot Kylo after the fight. Where he and Rey engaged the
lightsaber explosion.
The Royal Guards. And
fought over the lightsaber and it blew
he
up.
reaches into his trench coat and then pulls his hand back out and closes his trench coat. And I'm like, there's no way that Kylo doesn't know what you just did. There is no way that he doesn't know what you just did. And I was actually really surprised that he didn't just cut his head off. It's like, why are you keeping him around?
He did force choke him, though.
Here's a question.
That was awesome. That was a great callback.
Here's a question I have. How are they tracking them through subspace?
That's never explained.
I think it's touched on, but it's not elaborated on.
They showed the machine, that's it.
They talked about...
It looked like a flux capacitor, to tell you the truth.
Rose talked about how it was... I think it was Rose?
Through light speed?
Somebody was talking about how it was a possibility. It was a thing that could be... It was theoretical.
But no one's ever done it.
Yeah, they were doing it. And it's like, that's a thing. Like, there are a couple of things while this movie was like... I would love to know the exact length. This movie was very long. Covers and ties up a lot of plot points. But it leaves a couple of things unanswered, too. You know? Like Snoke and...
Who was he?
Yeah, the Codebreaker is just kind of...
Was he the Codebreaker or was the guy that got the Codebreaker?
That's the vibe I got, was that it was him, but he lost his little lapel.
Turns out, no, it was the wrong guy, apparently.
I don't know.
The guy we don't know.
There's a lot of deleted scenes with that guy in it.
Yes.
So...
He could be the Codebreaker, for all we know. I'm waiting for the 20 minutes that they cut out. I'm waiting for the DVD so I can buy it.
Yeah, 20 more minutes. I think it's of deleted scenes. I don't think they're adding it to the film.
You can watch with the deleted scenes in it.
Excuse me.
And what's really cool is that it's more scenes with Finn and Rose. So
yeah. Well, to be fair, when directors pull scenes like that out, they pull them out for a reason. And
they thought
nowhere is that
it was
more
too
evident.
much emphasis on Finn.
Yes, and I would agree with that. We spent a lot of time with Finn anyway.
Yeah, but it can't hurt. We saw the way it's supposed to be intended. Now we can watch it the way in conclusion.
Yeah, we almost don't spend enough time with Rey.
Yeah, but really, what can you do with that? She got 3 lessons. I guess they could show the second lesson or the third lesson.
Yeah, I saw that too. Where I saw a thing online where they pointed that out. And it's like, you're right, aren't you? They only did 2 of them. Yeah.
I like how Rey went straight to the dark side. Like the dark power.
You didn't even hesitate. You went right for it, and I'm like, yeah.
She's like, she's honorable. She's a good person. But if she thinks the dark side has something to teach her, to tell her, she'll go.
Yeah.
And that's why I think she'll eventually go Grey Jedi. I think this is the setup for the Grey Jedis. Because the Jedis have to die, and the Sith have to die.
I can believe what Kylo told her about her parents. Because that separates her baggage.
Yes.
You know, it gets rid of her baggage, it sets us up for the time skip, and it sets her up to be what she's going to be in the next movie. As opposed to this lost, confused, broken child who wants daddy to come home.
Yes.
Because he went out for a pack of cigarettes and never came back.
What I realized was that when Luke, after he's done a force projection, he becomes part of the Force. That sets it up so even if they're playing in the future, he can still be there.
Yeah, yeah.
So we know Carrie Fisher can't be there. She passed away in real life.
Yeah.
Which is a shame.
So she
was a beautiful person that did a lot for people.
Yeah.
And she had so many charities, and she was a sweetheart. And she
was funny.
She put tweets.
She was so funny.
Her tweets were emojis.
Really? That's great.
I mean, her tweets, they were like encoded. They were encrypted because they were just emojis and expression faces and stuff. But
yeah, this movie does a really good job at setting up a time skip, and it would make sense for her to have either passed away from old age or die during being killed by the First Order.
It sets up to where you don't blasphemy. There's no blasphemy to the character.
Yeah.
Like I thought she was going to be dead. I thought she was going to be dead.
I thought she was dead when they blew up the bridge. I was like,
then we see her in space, and she uses the Force.
I'm surprised they didn't do that. You know, but like then it's like
it's a surprise.
That's what everybody was expecting. It's like she's dead now. All right, yeah, there you go. She's out of the movie now.
But then nope, it's a surprise.
She's there for the rest of the film.
Yep.
And
glorious.
It sort of sets up Poe to be the new leader of the Resistance.
Yes.
Which is great, because I love Poe. Poe is my boy.
And he learned, by the end of this film,
the moment when his
he learned that they are the beacon for the light. They are the ones that have to show the way and live to the next day.
Yeah.
They're the beacon of hope.
You have to spread the story.
Yeah.
You know? That's what those people were left alive to do.
And
Poe is the one who realized that. You probably just said that, but Poe is the one who realized, oh, that's what he's doing. He is buying us time to get away.
Yep.
Nobody else realized that, not even Carrie Fisher. But he's like, we need to find another way out of here. But, yeah. I really liked the way they had Mark Hamill exit the film. It's really cool.
Watched the sunset of the two suns before.
Just like on Tatooine.
That's just like his home planet. So it was like he felt at peace the moment he...
And it kind of comes back to, in that moment when he's looking at the two suns, all he wants to do is be away from there. And in his final moments, he's back there again. Yep. Kinda.
He embraces it.
It's not a tragic thing either. It's just poetic. That's rhyming, George!
Yep.
George Lucas used to do this thing where he'd say, oh, they need to rhyme.
Oh,
and things need to rhyme. Like, a stormtrooper bumped his head in A New Hope, so I'm gonna have Jango Fett bump his head too.
Oh, God.
Because they rhymed. They rhyme, see?
You know, they hand
That's
waved
rhyming.
They hand waviumed.
A callback to the sunset? That's rhyming, George. Not two people bump their heads on the same thing.
Well, you know, they did the hand wavium type thing, and they said the reason why the clones are different heights is because they're no longer clones. The clone army's too ineffective, and it's like, no, a clone army is really effective.
Yeah.
But they waved it away because in the original trilogy, everybody was a different height. You can't have clones that are a different height.
Yeah, the way it was explained in Battlefront 2, the real Battlefront 2 for PlayStation 2, not the new one, the terrible one, was that it was very quickly explained away, but they said they stopped using clones and they started to pull from a variety of different clone subjects.
Yes.
So they were still using clones, there were just multiple people that they were pulling DNA from.
Because any one source where you pull DNA from is unstable.
Yeah, and frankly, Jango Fett is dead, so...
Yeah, I never saw
Boba Fett is a clone.
I've never seen Boba Fett or Jango Fett do anything good, anything cool, except for like in the prequels he fought a little bit, but he didn't anything do it. Except for he got his head cut off right away. And then Boba Fett, I never really saw.
Nobody cares.
Anything.
Well, to be fair, a lot of people apparently do care about
Boba Fett fell into a mouth of a sand eater.
Yeah, then he got out apparently according to Expanded Universe stuff.
But Expanded Universe is no longer canon.
I think he's in. Yeah, you're right. I'm trying to think desperately if there was... Anyway, Star Wars.
But it's just...
I don't like spending any more time on Boba Fett than needs to be spent, because frankly, he does nothing and then dies like a loser.
We saw our
His big showdown with Han Solo is Han Solo slaps him with a stick on accident when he's blind. And he falls into a pit and dies.
And we saw...
A land kraken.
We saw... the first glimpse of what the first time we saw a Kyber crystal. When Rey's holding...
Technically, yes.
When
We've
Rey's
never
holding
seen that there are crystals inside of the lightsabers in the films before.
When she's holding the broken Anakin Skywalker lightsaber, we see the clear Kyber crystal.
Yeah.
Which
she does not need to repair that.
No, I want her to take the parts and make a new one. I want her to make her own.
I want her to keep the crystal. I want her to recycle the crystal from Luke's, because she doesn't know where she's going to get
Kyber crystals are rare.
Yeah.
If you don't go to
they
the
were
planets,
what were used to power the Death Star.
If you don't... Yeah, exactly.
A lot of it's gone now.
But if you don't go to that one or two planets where they used to mine Kyber crystals for the lightsabers, you're out of luck.
Yeah.
Unless you steal a
I want her to recycle the crystal. Frankly, I want her to either rock... I want her to be the first one in canon to rock a lightsaber like Darth Maul's that can come into two.
Do you know why
she needs to have a staff lightsaber?
Sith lightsabers are red? Because their Kyber crystals are just synthetic. They're fake.
Really?
And the only color they can make is red.
Really?
Yep.
Huh. What's that from?
That is from the comic books, and it's also from one of the series of books.
Huh. Cool.
The reason
it would make a form of sense.
It's also
Gundam...
canon now. The reason
why...
It is
canon?
It is canon. It's in the comic books that are running now, too.
Explain why Anakin didn't build a fate. Well, not really.
But the reason why that all Sith have red Kyber crystals, because they don't know where the original planet is where they used to mine Kyber crystals.
Huh.
Only the Jedi knew that, and they didn't put it down in any text. They only had it in their mind, passed down by word, so no one could go and steal it. Because it was so important.
There's a lot of plot holes with that, especially considering that Anakin built his lightsaber and then became a Sith. But there's a lot of plot holes in Star Wars in general.
Only the Jedi Council knew where they were. They were given crystals.
Okay, because that was a plot point in something.
They were supplied crystals.
That was a plot point in something where they were. It was in Rogue One. Rogue One, they were mining the Kyber crystal from the planet.
Yeah, they.
She also had a Kyber crystal necklace.
Yeah,
where they were mining it for the Death Star.
Well, no, the Emperor Palpatine found out he ran the council. Remember?
Not the Jedi Council.
No, but he
that actually makes kind of sense.
He put Anakin in the council, and then on top of that,
if that planet is well, that's what Mace Windu said. It's like, you are on this council, but we do not give you the rank of master. So Anakin wouldn't necessarily know, but they have a ritual where they build their own lightsabers in caves. But it would make sense if Anakin found out where the planet was. If it was just a singular planet, I don't know. If it was just a singular planet, it would make sense right around that time frame that Darth Vader would have been able to locate it.
There's a couple, and on top of that, the planet where Luke is at is also a Jedi planet that has Kyber crystal in it.
Last Jedi.
Yes, Last Jedi.
Last Jedi. Because
what did I say?
It's so hard to talk about Star Wars without going off into other things.
Okay.
But we keep ending up going off on other
I brought it back. Planet that Luke's on does have Kyber crystals there.
Yeah.
It is a Jedi temple planet.
Give me a point. Give me a discussion point.
Another one?
Yeah.
I'm
sick.
I like how Finn knew where everything was on this new the ship.
Dreadnought?
The Dreadnought.
Yeah.
Because he was a janitor.
Yeah, he mopped the floors.
And of course he knows where everything is.
I like the design.
Oh yeah. The thing I like
not the Dreadnought, Snoke's ship. I think we're thinking of Snoke's ship.
Yeah, we're talking about Snoke's ship.
I liked the Dreadnought. I also liked Snoke's ship, but
the Dreadnought was easy to blow up. Why?
It wasn't
They
easy.
hit the sweet spot.
It wasn't easy to blow up.
They used a lot of bombs, but only in one location, and it chain reacted. I don't get that.
They got lucky because they sent in the ace pilot. They basically sent in, like, the best to take out all of the guns, and then they managed to get in there. So all they had to worry about was other ships. And frankly, it cost them their entire force.
Whole bombing force, yes.
Yeah. Well, the whole bombing force and only like 3 of the smaller ships got away.
Including Rose's sister.
Yeah. Which...
I believe Luke...
thankfully explained that girl away. I'm like, why are we spending so much time with this girl? What's the necklace mean?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we don't actually want to worry about her.
It was part of one necklace. It was 2 sides. It's a yin and yang.
It's like, oh, we're not actually worrying about her. We're worrying about her sister later. Cool. Gotcha.
But one thing I thought was cool. If you didn't notice, the mirror she looks at in the dark part of the planet that Luke was on
the cave.
The cave. That mirror is Kyber crystal.
I did not catch that.
Kyber crystal is very close to do with the Force. It's essentially in some cases considered a manifestation of the Force, made solid. It's really weird.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's and also, a little tangent to the side. They used to have battery packs for lightsabers. They used that put the energy into the Kyber crystal and made a lightsaber. That's why the Jedis use lightsabers, because they have such close affinity to the Force.
Huh.
But that wall...
I did not catch that wall was Kyber crystal.
If you look at it, it's clear crystal, just like what the Kyber crystal looked like. It's a Kyber crystal wall.
Yeah. In my defense, because you got onto me for a minute ago. In my defense, I said I was sick at the beginning of the podcast.
Yeah.
I have been getting progressively sicker since we
during
started.
the podcast.
Yeah. So I have not been coming up with points myself.
It's all good. I was just messing with you.
But to rest assured, listeners, this will not be the last time we discuss The Last Jedi. We will be recording another episode of LoR later, which covers all 3 of the new...
Force Awakens, Rogue One, and The Last Jedi.
Yes, it will cover all 3 of the new Star Wars movies, and it will be our retrospect of the new ones.
Yes.
So
if
we're not covering something here, by all means,
let us know.
Leave a comment. Leave a comment in general of things that you would like for us to cover in future podcasts, but specifically things concerning Star Wars and the new movies. And we will do our best to make a comprehensible list of discussion points for... Is it J.J. Abrams?
Yes, and the next one.
He didn't do Rogue One too, did he? Okay, then yeah, J.J. Abrams. The J.J. Star Wars movies.
Yes, we will break them down fairly, and we'll talk about them in more length. This is just kind of a highlight of what we thought.
Yeah, this is our coming off of the movie high conversation.
Yes.
What else can we talk about?
Well, I think we've covered it to a good degree. There's one thing that I wanted to say. If you're a janitor, you don't know where everything is just because you're a janitor.
Well,
I've been a janitor. That's not how that works.
I love the part. You made me think of the part where Kylo's like, I want every fighter to get that ship. And then they're flying around, and I think it's Finn that yells, they hate that ship!
Yeah!
I'm like, yeah! Booyah! Falcon, baby!
I like how Ben's like, he called the ship a piece of junk.
Was that cool? There was that really cool moment, too, where Kylo gets Rey's lightsaber and turns it on just for a second to get the guy in the face.
Oh, yeah. The elite guard turned it on and off. And I giggled at that scene. And then we just go to the side, and you just see there's a hole in it.
That was a great fight scene altogether.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as sequences in the film, you know, you had the opening sequence with Poe and the evacuation and the escape. Really cool. Love my boy Poe. There was that great moment where BB-8 uses his head. Use your head! I don't want to use my head!
Use it! Okay.
Then you had the Finn-Rose subplot where they go looking for him. I felt that was probably the weakest part of the movie.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm kind of happy that they cut out a good chunk of that.
But I am glad that it's there because we see the Force kid. Even at the
was it the same kid?
Even at the
I was
end of the movie.
questioning if that was the same kid.
The one that he had the ring that Rose gave him. The ring she had that she turned.
Did we see her give that to him?
No, we didn't. That's probably a part that was cut out.
Okay, fair enough.
But what I like about the kid, it sets up the kid.
Yeah.
That I guarantee you, I say it now, he's gonna have a key role in the next movie. He's gonna be a big thing. He's gonna be some sort of lightsaber, or he's gonna be some sort of Jedi.
Yeah, I can see the next movie. I can see the next movie being about Rey trying to find other Force users.
Yes.
Because they all kind of got to learn together, you know? They have to learn, because they don't have a teacher now. And frankly, in my opinion, that's the way it should be. You know, they should...
Trial and error?
Yes. I don't like, there are Sith, there are Jedi. Depending on your affinity towards the Force, if you...
Or evil, go to evil. If you're good, you go to good.
If you use the dark side of the Force, you will become an evil prick. If you use the light side of the Force, you become a dogmatic prick. You know, it's why I'm in very much support of the gray idea that you brought up. It's like, I like the idea of grays. They didn't touch on the idea of grays, except for maybe just a little bit. Where Luke cut himself off from the Force, and then Kylo and Rey were kind of...
Weird
meeting with each other. Not what I'm talking about. I'm not
tethered by the Force.
Not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how they were kind of... They were finding a middle ground together. And then when they separated from each other, that kind of... Because Ben is so dark side. When they separated from each other, Ben went full dark again. So it's like they were finding a middle ground. And they failed.
They weren't there yet.
Yeah, they need more time. But... We had the Finn and the Rose plot, which I'm glad if anything got cut, it was that.
I'd like to point out that we never find out what happened to Luke's other disciples.
Oh.
Where Ben took.
Yeah.
What happened to them?
Yeah, Ben took some of the students with him and he slaughtered the rest.
What happened there?
I thought that was so poetic that it was... I touched on it earlier, but it's like the thing that Luke did. It was just so... It was in character, but it's just so...
His dad did the same thing in the movie.
It's so yes, exactly. Exactly, fear.
Fear brought too much pain.
I'm not a big fan of that line, like, fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, hate leads to suffering.
Yep.
I'm not a big fan of that line, but
It's true.
Luke was...
In the movies,
Luke became susceptible in the exact same way. He had a vision of what was going to come. And he tried to stop it, just like his dad. And it caused it to happen.
Yep.
It's so
Poetic.
tragic.
Poetic.
It's like father, like son. And it's so sad. But then we have the Poe plot, where he's on board the ship which kind of merges
Starting
with
a mutiny.
Yeah, I loved that scene. Because I like Poe.
Leia comes in and shoots
Poe really
him.
had a moment to shine, and he's like, Leia! And then she just shoots him.
Tases him.
And then 3PO puts his arms up, like, okay. I'm not involved in this. Then we had the Rey with Luke plot. I feel like that could have been stronger, but I think it was fine.
Things got cut out of there, I guarantee you. They're going to show a second one.
We had the Luke...
Second lesson.
We had the Luke with Yoda scenes, which were probably my favorite moments in the film.
Yeah, they were potent. They were nice.
Followed by Rey going to Kylo.
Yep.
The fight on his ship.
Yep.
The pink-haired lady turning the Rebel cruiser into a shotgun and destroying a bunch of different Star Destroyers.
Best space kill ever.
Yeah, that was the way that moment was edited was spectacular.
Yeah.
And then you have destruction of the ship, the rebels on the shuttles, then they get down to the planet and they have crummy equipment. Old little
equipment.
I don't even know what you call them. They're not fighters.
I would have been
like
so
land
mad.
Speeders.
I would have been so mad if Finn died there to destroy a battering ram cannon.
I was actually okay with it.
I would have,
and it was probably because the expression on the actor's face.
He was okay with it.
He was
accepted
okay
it.
with it, but he's like,
we're getting
this
this
gives
done.
me meaning. You know, he's like, my entire life was nothing but being raised to be a murderer, and this is my opportunity to save lives and really make a difference. And then she crashes into him,
and then kisses him before she passes out.
Which I thought was cute. I hope they elaborate on that more in the next movie, because frankly, that didn't have enough of a romantic setup, and we don't know if Finn shares those feelings.
I hope he does. That would be a great, because
we don't know if they want to spin it so that Finn likes Rey.
I would love for them to have a setup to where there can just be a platonic friendship between a male and a female, and that they don't have to be brother and sister.
I want that
just
so
to be
badly.
That way.
I want that so badly.
Like Leia got together with Han. And the only reason why she didn't with Luke is because they're brother and sister. You get what I mean?
It's not a choice, it's a lack of options.
Yeah. Well, you know what I mean.
But then we have...
to have a platonic... Like, they hug each other, but it wasn't like a sexual hug. It was like comforting.
Yeah.
And it's
I love that. I love that so much.
We need that.
There are people who want her to get with Kylo.
I don't understand that.
I don't get that at all. I can certainly see the tension there.
Yes.
They like each other, certainly. But I don't see why people are I don't know why people are shipping them.
They're shipping them, yeah. I don't know.
But then we have the scene where Luke shows up and does his thing, which is why I will watch this movie
like a boss
over and over and over. I will buy this on Blu-ray.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't bought the previous two. Frankly, I haven't had the money to. But I haven't bought the previous two. I will buy this and watch it over and over and over.
Oh, yeah,
just
definitely.
for that scene. It is
everything is the build up to that scene.
The moment where he says, "If you strike me down in anger, I will be with you forever, just like your father."
Yes.
I was like, I got goosebumps, because, I'm not a big fan of Star Wars, but I do want to love Star Wars. I want to love it bad. And I just don't have enough of the franchise to do it. But, again, like I told you earlier, it's like Terminator. Actually, that's what I said immediately after the film ended.
Yes.
I said it's like Terminator. I don't like the first Terminator movie, but it sets up the new film. It sets up Terminator 2.
Yep.
And Terminator 2 is my favorite movie. I don't need to watch the first one to understand that, to really process and appreciate the importance of the events of the first movie for the second movie. And that's what really gives the events of the previous movie meaning is that they mean something in these movies.
Yes. There's gravitas to it.
Yeah. And the importance of, you have to believe he's there. You have to. And the misdirecting that they use to make you believe he's there.
Beautiful. But there was enough hints to where he wasn't.
I'm saying a lot, but you have him and his scene with Kylo.
Him apologized to Ben for letting him down.
Yeah. And there was so much in that scene that mirrored the Revenge of the Sith fight. You know? Kylo drops his jacket just like Anakin did.
Yeah.
When he was about to fight Ben.
He wants to be Darth Vader so much.
He does, but there's no way he would know that.
No,
so I let it go.
But that's the thing. It's like he wants to be him so much. There's things that resemble his grandfather, though.
Yeah.
Because
he's got the scar now too, just like Anakin did. Frankly, your sister compared Kylo Ren to a school shooter.
Not wrong.
He's an emo kid who is a school shooter. And I'm like, I was about to argue with her, and I was like, no, you're completely right, actually. he was a school shooter who murdered a bunch of kids and was dresses like an emo. You're right. You're totally right. Help me with the last part of the film. We had the Luke fight, and then the Rey on the Falcon.
Well, there was
helping Poe and the rebels escape
by force lifting all those rocks.
Yeah,
which was a beautiful scene.
It was a great moment, lifting rocks.
They came out.
She says lifting rocks.
Yep. They came out and they just see her hand out just all these giant rocks that none of them would be able to lift with physical strength. Just like it's nothing. And she's amazed she's doing it herself.
Poe's freak out. He's like, no! Nah, man! He's like, it's caved in. Oh, man! Just Poe, you can tell Poe just breaks in that moment just a little bit.
And then all the rocks lift up and she's just...
Did I mention my projection for Poe?
Leader.
Not leader. I want him to get... Okay, so yeah.
Yes,
Luke Skywalker's X-Wing fighter is still on that planet.
That's what I was saying earlier.
Yeah, I want Poe to go get Luke's X-Wing and have it be like
an inherited thing.
A passed down. You know?
That'd be beautiful.
That would be awesome, and they've already set the precedent for that with lightsabers in this franchise. Lightsabers mean a lot.
They even showed the X-Wing. There had to be meaning to that.
Yeah, but everybody evacuates on the Millennium Falcon. Rey and Kylo go their separate ways, and we end the movie with a child apparently using the Force to pull a broomstick to him.
And
which I'm not even sure he would realize that he did that, and it comes back to what I mentioned in the previous episode of Anakin using the Force to do that thing to fix the pod racer.
That would
it's like he was supposed to do it on accident.
No.
This kid probably doesn't even realize that he used the Force to pull that thing to him.
But he knows he can do stuff like that.
Maybe not.
No, he stood out.
Maybe
he looked at he looked at the broom and went like this and watched the broom come to him.
Here's the thing.
And his hand was far enough to where he could see it.
I completely missed that happened. DK pointed that out to me. I
lost my stuffing when I saw that.
I completely missed the fact that this kid used the Force to pull that broomstick to him.
And it was very obvious he knew he was doing it too, because he stops, he looks over, he puts his hand a good 3-4 feet away, and it comes to him.
What's the other thing you pointed out that I missed? When we were walking out of the theater, you pointed out something else that I missed.
I do not know.
I don't know, but yeah, he's got a rebel ring that he apparently got from Rose. Although we didn't see that scene either.
But
the movie ends
when she explains she's a rebel, she twists the ring and shows it to him.
Yeah, and he's just wearing it as an open rebel ring.
Yep.
It's like, dude, you're gonna get caught. But it ends with the child looking up into the sky, seeing what we can presume is the Millennium Falcon, or a representation of Luke as a shooting star. And ends with him staring up, holding that broomstick like a lightsaber. It was very poetic.
It was beautiful.
It was okay. It was a little cheesy.
I love cheesy.
I maintain it was cheesy, but it was...
beautifully cheesy.
Yeah, if I had to rank it, let's reiterate our rankings from the last movie. Or last podcast, sorry. Do you remember yours?
It's the exact same setting, and just everything's pushed back to one.
Yeah, everyone's... It's like, mine is now, this movie is on the top. And we've given ourselves enough time to digest the film so that we're not still on the new movie high. Yes. Although we are still kind of on the movie high of a new movie high. But that has been our debriefing on Star Wars The Last Jedi. My favorite Star Wars movie.
And I would like to say that we do enjoy everyone listening in on this. We really love when you guys give us a listener question or questions. Let us know what you guys want us to talk about.
We've gotten a few really good ones.
Yes.
Today's not one of them. I will preface this.
Yes.
Saying that up front. Today's listener question is not necessarily the best, but it is
what we have.
It's a pull from one of our buddies again.
Yes.
And that listener question is, of the following, which did you like more and which did you grow up with? Pokemon or Digimon?
I grew up with both.
I grew up with both, but Pokemon was such a periphery thing.
Okay, let me put it this way.
I know virtually... Alright, let's set this up right now, because we did discuss this a little bit before we did the podcast. I am a Digimon guy. You are a Pokemon guy.
Yes and no. That's why I didn't talk about it very much. The reason why...
That's fair, but I know virtually nothing about Pokemon.
I am both Pokemon and Digimon.
I never played the games, and I only watched the show on occasion.
From age 7 to about 12, I was all Pokemon, played Pokemon, the card game, watched the show. From 12 to about 16, I was Digimon. I used to watch Digimon before I went to middle school, and it used to be on before when I woke up.
Digimon was my thing, dude. I loved Digimon so much that I wanted to buy the blank VHS tapes to record it when they started airing it from episode 1 again, because I wanted it. I wanted to have copies so that I could watch it over and over again. And I don't have to now because I own the entire first and second seasons on DVD. And I've yet to actually pop that in and watch it to conclusion.
You know they have Digimon Trio now, right?
Try, yes.
Try.
Digimon Try.
Okay, Try, sorry.
They have them at Walmart. I haven't picked them up yet. I haven't
gotten Crunchyroll.
I'm not going to pay whatever they're charging per DVD. I'm going to wait for the collection.
It's on Crunchyroll if you want to watch it. It's subbed.
It's dubbed. It's being dubbed, and that's why I'm waiting, because they brought back the cast.
Okay.
At least most of the cast, they brought them back. So I'm certainly going to wait. Plus the story for the Digimon Adventure versus the story for the English and the Japanese versions are different. Slightly, but just a bit.
Moving back, I used to watch Digimon, Power Rangers, and Beyblade.
Power Rangers was... Okay, Digimon was my thing. Power Rangers was right next to that. And I remember watching Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue and then watching Digimon.
I used to wake up early for school. I'd watch, in order, it was Power Rangers, Ninja Storm, Digimon, and it did... all the show. You're
talking Saturday. You're talking before school in the morning.
Every morning.
I'm talking afternoons.
Every morning.
You remember Fox Kids?
I do not. I did not watch Fox Kids.
Fox Kids was my jiggity. Fox Kids was. I miss Fox Kids the same way a lot of people miss like Adult Swim and things that have happened on Cartoon Network, because I never had cable. I only had network television, and Fox Kids was the shiz. Fox Kids was Power Rangers. Beetleborgs was another thing I loved on Fox Kids.
School was... I did not like school, so waking up an hour and a half early... an hour and a half early to watch my Digimon, my Beyblade, and my...
I wish I had something like that in the morning, because it gives you a reason to get up.
I watch all those three, and then every once in a while, I believe it was like every other day, they would show... I forget the show. I completely forget it.
Do you know that I
loved it.
I am the absolute biggest Transformers fan you can find. I've
seen your collection.
I have a huge... You've seen a fraction of my collection. Yes. Let's be clear. I have a large number of even more Transformers in storage that you did not see. I have bookcases and bookcases full of the things. That being said, I never watched the show.
Really?
Yep, as a kid, I never watched the show. When I bought my first Transformer, who I still have, by the way, it was Armada Starscream, great toy. I went to the store with the intention of buying a Lego set.
Really?
With my dad at this Toys R Us that's right down the street. Me and my dad, it was a big deal because we live about 45, at the time, we lived about 45 minutes from here. My dad, it was a very big deal when my dad would take me to Toys R Us. I'd spend days being like, can we go to Toys R Us? He's like, we'll see. I go to Toys R Us. We'll see. I was like, can we go to Toys R Us? Dang it, boy! But I went in and I had gone in with the intention of getting a Lego set. I don't even remember what Lego set it was, to tell you the truth. But I went in and they didn't have the set. And I was so upset because we had to drive a long way and then we had to drive a long way to get home. You know? So I came and it's like, they don't have the thing I wanted. And at the last, my dad was on his way out. He's like, let's go home. Because I spent a good amount of time looking through the Legos. And out of the corner of my eye, something red caught my eye. And I walked over and I looked at the Transformers and I was like, oh, hey, cool. Because I didn't know what Transformers were at the time. And It was Transformers Armada Starscream. It was a red jet that turned into a pretty cool looking robot with a tinier robot that was a race car. A very small race car, if we're talking about size here. It might be to scale, actually, come to think of it. He's got a little cockpit. But I picked that up. You can call this a nostalgic retrospect, as far as this listener question is concerned, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we're covering some things from our childhoods. But I picked that up instead. But I never watched the shows. You know, that's
completely understandable.
Buying that toy started this chain reaction of Transformers are the coolest thing I have ever seen. Because it's like 3 toys in one, depending on the Transformer you get. If it's just car robot, you've got 3 toys. You've got a car, you've got a robot, and you've got a puzzle toy.
Yes.
If they transform into more things,
like ones that have turned into 6 things.
Yeah, which frankly we just received one. We got a 6-shot leader toy that turns into 6 things. Plus, you've got the little robot guy that's the head. It's like, if I were to break down there are some Transformers where if you broke down all the different things they could become, you would have 12, 13 more toys. But I never watched the show, weirdly enough. The only time Transformers aired somewhere other than Cartoon Network when I was growing up was it aired on... I don't think it was Fox. It might have been Fox Kids. It might have been the momentary thing post Fox Kids. But it was Transformers Cybertron, which was the 3rd installment of Transformers. But moving on past Transformers, I was a Digimon kid.
Yeah, Digimon.
I loved
Digimon. Digital monsters, Digimon are the champion.
I loved it so much. I had the toys. I had the cards, all of which have been lost at this point. But I do still have. When I moved, there were a few things I had to leave behind, but I made a point to save something. There's a little Agumon, a little Gomamon. Is it Gomamon?
Yeah.
Oh no.
There is one.
It's Agumon, Gabumon, and then Palmon.
Okay.
I have the little toys of those 3 characters.
And up on my shelf, you can see that I have a Ho-Oh, and a Lugia.
Oh yeah,
top shelf.
The little guys.
My Pokemon.
So I think Agumon, each of them have like a little movement thing, but yeah.
So that about covers the question.
Yeah, and a little things outside of the question. I talked about Transformers a little bit.
We rant.
It's not a bad thing.
Monologue.
It is not a bad thing. I got kind of a sudden burst of energy there at the end, but I'm going to pass out as soon as we're done. So I'm not feeling well.
I can second that.
Talk about Pokemon a little bit more.
Frankly, I don't remember very much about Pokemon.
Oh, so you were...
I played the cartoon.
You played the games, though.
I watched the show when I was younger.
There are 2 different segments of people who are considered Pokemon kids. It's like there were the guys that played the games, then there were the kids that played the show. Played the show. Who watched the show?
I did both. But I did it with the 1st season and 2nd season. I did it the one with the Johto and the Kanto region, I believe.
Yeah, I remember when Digimon jumped to season 3, and I was like, this is different, this is interesting, but I never got to watch it all the way through.
I've watched all Digimon ever.
Yeah, I remember the epicness that was the ending of the second season of
In
Adventure.
my defense, though, Digimon stopped for a long time.
Yeah.
Pokemon's still going.
Power Rangers stopped there for a long time, too. Power Rangers was my thing before Transformers was.
Yeah, it started back up recently. Big.
I love Transformers. Frankly, I loved, if we're talking about nostalgic shows, Yu-Gi-Oh! Was also in my top 5.
Definitely.
Power Rangers, Beetleborgs, Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh!
I still have Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards.
And I can't actually say Transformers. The toys were definitely my hobby. The cards for Yu-Gi-Oh! Were definitely my hobby, but I never watched Transformers shows when I was little. I had to wait for DVDs, and even then I didn't really have the money to buy them. But
it happens.
Yeah, I guess that pretty much, if you don't have anything else to say.
Sadly not.
All right, well, that covers the nostalgia trip. I'm sure we will have plenty more opportunities to talk about things from our childhood, from back then, in the future. But I guess that's going to wrap up this show. So, well, fellow Nerdians, we hope you've enjoyed this week's episode of Levels of Ridiculousness. You can always find our backlog of older shows as well as a new episode of Lore every Wednesday here at Nerddom. I'm Ozpin.
Yoish, it's DK.
Please like, comment, subscribe, leave a listener question, leave a topic suggestion, tell a friend, and rest assured that you're all always welcome here in the kingdom of Nerddom.
Salutations.
Have a good one.